The Nepal Federation of Indigenous Nationalities, or NEFIN, is a leading organization in Nepal. It represents the rights and interests of indigenous peoples. Founded in 1991, NEFIN has been a powerful voice. It advocates for the recognition, rights and well-being of Nepal's diverse indigenous communities. NEFIN is an umbrella organization. It unites over 56 distinct indigenous nationalities in Nepal. These groups are known as Aadibaashi janajati. They represent a rich tapestry of cultures, languages and traditions. NEFIN strives to create a society where indigenous peoples thrive. They work towards equality, inclusion and self-determination. NEFIN is a vital platform for indigenous communities. It amplifies their voices. NEFIN advocates for their rights at local, national and international levels. Through advocacy, networking and community empowerment programs, NEFIN plays a crucial role. It shapes policies and promotes the rights of indigenous peoples in Nepal. NEFIN's work is vital for the future of Nepal. It champions inclusivity and recognizes the valuable contributions of indigenous peoples. NEFIN emerged during a time of political change in Nepal. The 1990 People's Movement brought democracy. This created space for marginalized communities to assert their rights. Indigenous leaders and activists recognized the need for a unified platform. They wanted to address the historical injustices and marginalization faced by indigenous peoples. In 1991, representatives from various indigenous communities came together. They laid the foundation for NEFIN. This marked a significant milestone. For the first time, indigenous peoples in Nepal had a national-level organization. It was dedicated to representing their collective interests. NEFIN's founders envisioned a Nepal where indigenous peoples had equal rights and opportunities. They aimed to challenge the existing power structures. They wanted to ensure that indigenous voices were heard in the country's decision-making processes. The organization's formation was a testament to the resilience and determination of indigenous communities. They were striving for recognition and self-determination. NEFIN's emergence signified a new era of indigenous activism in Nepal. NEFIN's core mission is to promote and protect the rights of indigenous peoples in Nepal. This includes their cultural, linguistic and land rights. NEFIN works tirelessly to ensure that indigenous communities have a voice. They want them to participate in the decisions that directly impact their lives and territories. One of NEFIN's main objectives is to secure constitutional and legal recognition of indigenous peoples' rights. This includes advocating for the implementation of international human rights instruments. They focus on the UN Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples, or UNDRIP. NEFIN actively engages with government bodies, policymakers, and civil society organizations to raise awareness about indigenous rights. They push for inclusive policies that respect and uphold these rights. NEFIN also works to strengthen the capacity of indigenous communities. They do this through training, workshops, and leadership development programs. By empowering individuals and communities, NEFIN aims to create a more equitable and just society where indigenous peoples can thrive. They can preserve their cultural identity and exercise their rights without fear of discrimination or marginalization. NEFIN's mission is crucial in a country like Nepal, where indigenous peoples have historically faced systemic discrimination and exclusion. Since its inception, NEFIN has played a pivotal role in advancing the rights of indigenous peoples in Nepal. The organization's tireless advocacy has brought about significant changes. This has positively impacted the lives of countless indigenous individuals and communities across the country. NEFIN's advocacy efforts have resulted in the inclusion of provisions for indigenous rights in Nepal's constitution. This historic achievement recognizes the distinct identities, rights and cultures of indigenous peoples. While challenges remain in fully implementing these constitutional provisions, NEFIN continues to monitor the situation closely. They hold the government accountable. Furthermore, NEFIN's work has contributed to increased awareness and understanding of indigenous issues among the broader Nepalese society. Through awareness-raising campaigns, media engagement and public dialogues, NEFIN has challenged stereotypes. They have promoted a more inclusive and equitable national narrative that values the contributions of all citizens, including indigenous peoples. NEFIN's impact extends beyond policy changes. The organization's work has empowered indigenous communities to reclaim their voices, assert their rights, and participate in shaping their own destinies.